Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Thunder, and this is Two Dads React. And this is two dads, and my son now he calls me because you know the Giga Chad, the Giga Chad reference. So I'm Giga Dad now. So I'm Giga Dad. So it's cool. I'll take it, but it's still pretty lame. Shit. Oh, two lame dads. Anyhow, well, yeah. So anyhow, two dads react, and we are going to be talking today about train derailment in Ohio. A train derailment in Ohio. You see the thumbnail, and of course, this show is a sort of variety show. We will talk on a variety of topics. The main event, the main course being train derailment in Ohio. So, without further ado, two dads react. Let's go. Warning. Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. What's happening, man?
Hey, how you doing? How's your day been, man? You good?
It's all right. It sounds a little bit more like Room. The Room, like maybe the microphone that you intend to use maybe is not on.
Yeah, need to. I might need to.
Oh,
Right.
there we go.
Yeah, I was just trying to do a bunch of stuff here and trying to open things, and I can't do it with this mic in front of me, so I had to move it and forgot about it.
There we go. It's Shad Moss in in the chat there says hello. So what's happening? Yeah. So how's the week? You said you got a lot of stuff going on. We had a
Yeah,
really good show. We had a really great
yeah,
show
good.
last week. That Madonna show. If
Did it
folks
go
haven't
good?
seen that, make sure you go back and check that out.
So how'd it go, man? I mean, what was did it get a lot of views or what? I didn't even notice.
Well, no. I'm just telling the
Oh, it
audience.
was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was
definitely.
a good. It's a good show. Go and check it out. You know, make sure you go and check out several shows that are still available out there to watch. So, yeah.
Did you hear
But
about Susan?
hmm.
Did you hear about Susan,
No.
the CEO of this particular website that we're on right now?
Oh no, I didn't
She
hear.
just stepped down today. She stepped down today.
Oh snap.
Yeah, could have something to do with something that was going on a day or two ago. No, it was about 5 days ago. I did a tweet about it. Clay, of course, Higgins, talking to former executives at Twitter and saying that they're going to be put behind, of course, bars, things like that. He's saying stuff like that. Uh,
Oh,
so I think that might
interesting.
be. So I don't know if she's like a little bit concerned about that. Maybe doesn't want to be uh, CEO anymore or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if I want to answer those questions. I don't know if I want to go in front of those guys in Congress. I can show you what I'm talking about right here. Let me show you
All
this
right,
right
let
here.
me let me jump over there. Give me a second.
I just learned about it. I haven't even looked into it or anything hardly. I just remember this clip. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Maybe not.
Yeah, I can hear it. Oh, well, no, it's pretty low. No, I can't really hear it. I think it must have been coming through your mic.
All right. Okay. Basically, yeah. I mean, it's basically a representative Clay here, Higgins, saying to former Twitter executives that they might be behind, of course, bars soon here, because they were working with a certain federal, of course, bureau, not exactly in line with the American people. You know what I mean? So because they were like basically in collusion. You know what I mean? All that whole thing.
Right.
So that's kind of amazing. But she just stepped down today. I don't know if of course, a lot of people are actually implying that might be the reason why she stepped down is because she didn't want to deal with this. But I mean, even liberal outlets are saying that. So you know what I mean? Uh, at any rate, there's that. That's just one thing. There's a lot of other stuff going on too. But yeah, man. Uh, so maybe we just jump into the show. I kind of derailed it there.
No, right. All
And
right, so
Video
here we
breakdown.
got a few things that we can look at. Pretty interesting topical stuff. We all saw most Americans saw the, let's see here, not that one. That ain't the one I want. Not that one. It's one of these. Okay, there it is. Um, most Americans saw the Super Bowl, and there's been a number of videos that have been done on this topic now. So let's take a look and see what we're talking about here.
Wanted to rewatch Rihanna's performance, but then I noticed something. Illuminati symbol?
okay.
So
They, they
now
do
when,
that all the
when
time.
yeah, so when you look at uh, when she's done this song in the past, that's something that she does frequently. So at least it's not new. And maybe it actually is just a reference to the name, Diamond, the
Oh,
lyric
okay.
in the song. However, So first of all, what do you think it's clear to me that there's clearly some loony Hollywood stuff
Oh yeah,
that a bunch of these folks are involved in some of that Illuminati, Scientology stuff.
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and Will Smith and Jada, they're into that
They're
Scientology
into
stuff too.
Scientology. They're into
Yeah,
Scientology. I didn't know
it's real
that.
strange. Yeah, a bunch of folks are into that, and again, this like Illuminati stuff. You had the stuff with Beyonce and Jay-Z, and there's a bunch of kind of weird stuff.
I used to talk about that stuff all the time in the old days.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how many years ago that was. 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. I used to talk about that stuff.
Yeah. But what do you think of the Illuminati thing? Do you think you think this is an overt reference? I mean, they were talking about the shape of the stage. They were talking
Well,
about.
I mean, I don't think it's like necessarily this group called the Nati or whatever, but I look at it more like just like the elite, the ones that are kind of running the ones that have the money, the ones that are pushing, of course, their agenda at the top
the
levels.
Bilderbergers.
Yeah, the burgers, yeah. The burgers. The builder, Bob the Builders. Yeah, those guys. I mean, I just think I think it's there. I mean, they do it. I mean, it's pretty obvious. And I do think that they actually do kind of control some of these Hollywood guys. I mean, look at Kanye West. I do think he had some weird trainer, right? That was kind of let out. That was trying to control him or something, sending him texts saying, I'm going to do something to you if you don't get your act together and stuff. I'm sure there's I guess they call them people that handle them. You know what I mean? Get them where they want them to go. I think there's that might be happening. I'm sure that is.
Right.
But is it like just, it's a little bit too, I don't look at it as the Illuminati. I don't look at it like that. I look at it just like these elite, and I think it's Lucifer behind it. I think the devil's behind it, of course, but,
right.
We used to use that word all the time as a zinger in the titles. These days will probably just get you in trouble, but yeah, we used to. All
right, so let's take a look at this one. You were talking about we just mentioned I mentioned Beyonce and Jay-Z and
oh yeah,
and
Madonna's. I mean, she's so old though. I mean, she's like way out, but she's still doing her weird stuff.
She's doing a lot of strange stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's take a look at this, and this is interesting. This is a we'll just play it. Notice it says, "If the Spirit of God lives in you, you don't support Beyonce." Okay, so that's the message. Let's see what she's talking about.
Any of you who are going to Beyonce's concert, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. How dare you call yourself a Christian? I don't care what pastor you got that is okay with it. I don't care what pastor you got that think it's cool. I don't care what pastor you got that's singing along to their song because they want some clout. Why you think that man called himself Jehovah? It was short for Jehovah.
Talking about Jay-Z.
When a witch has a coven, it's normally a small thing. Witches' covens are normally 3 to 7 people. When it becomes thousands, it's called a hive. Y'all are part of that lady beehive?
Now notice that, and I'm not making any judgments about people, but notice she has a tattoo. She's talking very aggressively. She's talking very aggressively about attending Beyonce's concert, and she's up here with this in a sleevelet. She's preaching, okay, and then she's sleeveless with the tattoo showing. Now look. Okay. I'm gonna let it keep going because I could derail it there. I gotta
show you something in a second. I gotta show you something in a second too with Beyonce.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead. I had a video that got 500,000 views about Beyonce back like 7 years ago.
Okay.
It was a while ago.
Here.
Yeah.
And you call yourself a Christian? May the dealings of the Lord come upon you. You think this is small stuff. You think you not going to that lady's concert is not an initiation. You think you not going to that concert is not a ritual. You think you not going to concert is not a gate. That entire concert is a gate. How dare you call yourself a Christian? I'm telling you, may the dealings of the Lord come upon any Christian with a platform that is using mixture. This year, may the dealings of the Lord come upon you. This year, may the dealings of the Lord come upon you. Let me say something. There is a righteous indignation. God is tired of this. I'm telling you by the Spirit of God. He is tired of his people being in mixture. He is tired. You being in mixture is the same thing as you cheating on your wife. You being in mixture is the same thing as you cheating on your husband. There is no excuse for it. When you made a covenant, how dare you think it's just music when the devil was the minister of music and you are blinded if you think it's okay to go there. You are blinded. You should know the Holy Ghost is not with you if you have no conviction.
Okay, so what is your initial thoughts? I've got like I could talk at length about this on multiple aspects, but I want you to weigh in
think,
first.
I mean, I feel like the world has gotten far worse, and you just pretending like you're part of the world and part of God is like not really something you can do anymore, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
You got like Little Nas X, with the devil and stuff. I mean, come on, people. It's just not rocket science, you know. Oh, it's just, some people, they just want to pretend like they're believers. They just, walk into the church once a week or something. But I don't listen to Beyonce. I don't know what she's doing. I don't follow her at all. But I mean, there are some weird videos of her basically changing on stage. I was going to show you one of those in a second here. And I actually have a video I put up on Twitter, and I was gonna probably put it back up on YouTube. It got like 5 million views. It was a different one where I show the greatest trick the devil ever. The greatest trick of the devil is basically proving or convincing the world that he doesn't exist. And it was like some quote from a movie, and then I show Beyonce's face like in slow motion changing in one spot, and this is a different video here, but it shows her like completely changing on the stage. So, I mean, that stuff does happen. You know what I mean? I really think it.
Are you do you have that video
Yeah,
ready? Okay,
yeah.
so here let me let's jump over there and we'll jump back and I'll share my thoughts.
All right. Oh, I got to pull it across. Oh wait, maybe I don't. I went like this. There we go. All right. You can see here kind of watch just how she changes with that. It just seems really weird. And there's like other ones I've seen where like shows her face while she's doing this stuff, and it just like looks really weird. Like that's not even a good video. I've seen way better than that. But like it looks like a man like doing it. You know what I mean? Like she changes and it looks like manly features afterwards. Like her mannerisms look like kind of like a man or something, or like kind of really sinister man or something, you know what I mean? And I've seen way worse than that. I mean, I've seen like slow motion, like really slow motion, her change, and it's just like really weird. I have the clip. I used to have the video on my channel, but I deleted it. I'm gonna probably put it up again.
Mm-hmm.
But so there's a lot of those, and
Video breakdown.
I have a lot of other ones like that too. But at any rate, so what do you think about that? I mean, what's your whole opinion about it?
So here's my issue. Now, I don't have a particular issue against this woman, against this preacher. Now I'm Orthodox. I have a particular view of is when we start talking about leadership, who is supposed to be in leadership positions in church. It's always been the same. It never changed because of the girl power movement, the principles that have been forever and ever, amen, the same, did not change. There have been a number of Christian bodies that have decided that they were going to do something different. Perhaps they were pressured, perhaps they just changed their opinion on what they thought was allowable. And there's a lot of going through the Bible and misgendering things, or trying to be, not just misgendering, actually taking stuff that clearly says, stuff associated with a man, and just saying that, hey, it's anybody, all of this kind of stuff. Go ahead.
Did you see the Leah Thomas thing? It was Daily Wire that put out something today about Leah Thomas, had an interview. I was actually going to talk about that too. What was it? It was, they found out his social media is like very satanic. Where is that? Here it is. Yeah, I have it just came out it was a day ago. One of the swimmers that,
I'll show. Well, let me just finish up on this.
Yeah,
point.
Go ahead.
So the issue is that I have is she's being very assertive about, if you go to this particular concert, then there's an issue. Then that means that you're in league with the devil. The problem that I have is many of the things that are likely occurring in that church right there are clearly wrong and are clearly bogus. Okay. And there's some obvious things, but the Old Testament of the Bible in particular has some pretty specific language about tattoos. She has a prominently featured tattoo on her arm here. Okay. And I'm not trying to be legalistic or anything, but the point is,
you think a tattoo is wrong or something, or at least in the Old Testament is what is over. Because I thought we were talking about.
There's some specific language about carvings in the flesh.
But I thought that was unto false gods, wasn't it? But then again, some tattoos are unto false gods or whatever.
So, my point is, there's other things that I could say. I'm trying not to make this about that. The biggest issue is there is this, Protestants tend to do this thing, this sacred versus secular dichotomy, which is false. Yeah. Okay. The early church conception on this is that whatever is beautiful glorifies God. Okay. And so there's not this.
So you're saying like if it's in the secular realm and is not labeled Christian, some are just like separating, like this is Christian, this is secular, but some secular stuff's not bad. Some's good, some's bad. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying that there is no such thing as sacred and secular. I'm saying that all things.
You're saying created. Everything is sacred.
Well, so that's not.
Not everything sacred, but
Yeah. I'm saying that the sacred secular dichotomy is inherently problematic, and it is a direct artifact of the Protestant Reformation. Prior to that, that's not the way that they talked about things. It was much more of a holistic thing. It was less throwing the baby out with the bathwater sort of way of thinking. And the thing is that even in stuff that you can question whatever the motives of the writer, you could question whatever the themes are, some of the lyrics that are used, some of the topics that are discussed. Obviously, you can say, hey, well, this isn't appropriate for X, Y, and Z. But then there will also be within the same thing, there'll be things that are actually good. There's nothing wrong with them. Maybe a harmonic progression, maybe a rhythm, maybe a particular instrumentation. That is not evil just because Beyonce has a horn section doesn't mean that now horn sections are evil. But this is the sort of slippery slope that they apply. And this whole idea of because you went to a Beyonce concert, that somehow necessarily is some sort of initiation into her coven or something is a bunch of hogwash. And now listen to this thing that she says, this mixture. She was talking about mixture.
Yeah, she said mixture. Yeah, but there is one concert not recent. Remember that concert where like a bunch of people died? What was that? I can't remember the name. It had like the vortex thing in it. The chick that was in that was in Transformers. She's married to the guy. I can't remember the guy's name though. Yeah, I'm talking about.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. But some were saying that was actually an initiation because of the stuff he was saying, and it literally had all the symbolic of like entering a portal and stuff like that. I mean, that's completely different than this maybe, but so I think there are maybe potentially some situations like that, but who knows, right?
So go ahead and show me what you were going to show me.
Yeah, it was Leah Thomas. Here we go. So today, the Daily Wire comes out with Leah Thomas breaking satanic story. I was like pretty surprised by the title. I'm like, this isn't something you usually would see on the Daily Wire, you know what I mean? And and maybe you can play it because you can't hear my audio through here, right?
No, but I could find the thing if you maybe email me the link.
I just literally typed in Leah Thomas on YouTube as a top video.
Okay, all right, I'll do that.
Just type it in, and I can show you some pictures from it. I mean, there's this is a lady that was swimming against Leah Thomas and tied him or her, whatever you want to call him. And instead of giving out 2 trophies right then, they just give the 1 trophy to Leah Thomas and don't give her the trophy, even though they both tied. And so that was when she realized something wasn't right. And then she started, I guess, apparently going through her social media, and Leah Thomas is like into some really satanic stuff apparently. And what they were trying to say is that this is not what people think it is. This is actually a fetish. And this is what Leah Thomas even says. They actually get, of course, off to thinking they are a female. And it's like some people are into balloons, some people are into feet. These people are into believing that it's like, and this is how Leah Thomas herself describes what she's experiencing. He is experiencing.
So how far should you want me to just start from the beginning?
It's not that long. Yeah, if you want, it's 5 minutes.
Guys, for joining us. If you watch Crane and Company, you understand we like to have a good time on here.
Wait a minute, 5 minutes. This video is 28 minutes. Maybe I had the wrong.
Yeah. One. It says Daily Wire hosts react to Leah Thomas breaking satanic story.
Okay.
Our show here, Crane and Company,
are breaking some news this morning, and it starts with
Riley Gaines, an NCAA swimmer
from a proud SEC school there in Kentucky, the Wildcats. One of the biggest things that is have been a warning sign that is now coming to fruition that we are seeing in women's sports. And I can't even believe I have to sit here and say this, but that men, biological men, should not be competing against biological women in sports. Now, why I have to come out and say that is sad in its own right, but we have to, because again, if we let it, there will be men pretending to be women that ruin women's sports.
Leah Thomas, the UPenn swimmer, failed at everything as a male swimmer and then began dominating as a female swimmer.
We all sat on the sidelines as Leah Thomas became the fastest female in the country, winning a national title in the 500 freestyle, beating out, Olympians, American record holders, the fastest females of all time. And that next day was when Leah and I raced each other, and we swam the 200 freestyle, and crazily enough, we tied. So when we went the exact same time down to the 100th of a second, which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
And so upon tying, I go behind the awards podium where they give you these like dinky little trophies and they parade you out. But the NCAA official looks at me and says, "Great job, y'all tied. The trophy goes to Leah.
What?
We'll eventually mail you yours." And so I kind of look at him and I quickly question him, and I'm like, okay, I understand there's one trophy, don't account for ties, but what's your thought process on giving it to Leah? Why are you so adamant? And he said, well, for photo purposes, Leah has to have it.
Wow. Yeah.
And so obviously I knew what we were dealing with was wrong. What was happening was, it's wild. But it was at this moment that I realized not only were we being forced to compete against a man, 6'4", a man.
Yes.
Were we being forced to change in a locker room with a man? We were being sidelined to validate the feelings and the identity of a man.
This is not the most womanly woman who ever womaned. I'm just gonna put that out there. And not the kind of dude that you would want in a locker room with the ladies.
There's a little more that meets the eye, obviously, and some of these people have a lot more going on, and a lot more going on meaning sexual fetishes.
Are some of the things they do satanic, would you say?
Yes.
Okay. Really? Not surprised by that.
They practice these satanic things based off of the posts and based off of the content that they like on social media. It's very, very just bizarre. They have bondage all over their bedroom wall where they sleep every night. I'm talking like full,
and this
like
is all
50
everybody
shades,
can see this. This is
like 50 Shades of Grey, like wall of things. They both actually, on the same day, again, this is all to my knowledge from the photos they're posting. I don't want to make it seem like I'm claiming something, but this is what this is public that they post. The same day, they actually both went to the hospital to essentially get neutered. They wanted to stop all testosterone production, so they cut off parts of their male parts, but left other parts, to which in a photo, these testicles are in a jar.
Stop.
Just at their house.
It's not surprising to me anyway that Leah Thomas is a depraved pervert, according to the information that they found here. That doesn't surprise me. But what it reveals, and rather what it confirms, what any thinking person should have already known really, is that this is a fetish. Okay, this is a fetish community, if we can even call it a community, and that's what it is. Autogynephilia, okay, is, as it says there in the thread, autogynephilia is the men who are thrilled by the thought of themselves as a woman. Okay, they get off on the idea of themselves being a woman. Which, by the way, that is not the same thing as actually thinking that you are one. That's the important point. Now, even if Leah Thomas actually believed that he is a woman, that wouldn't at all make him a woman. And so it wouldn't change much, or it shouldn't. But it becomes all the more grotesque and absurd when you consider the fact that even these people who claim to identify as women, many of them really don't. They don't even believe what they're saying about themselves. And yet we're supposed to believe it. This is a fetish.
All right.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Video breakdown.
I was going to say, I used to be a swimmer. You know that, right? I used to be on the swim team. And I also had surgery recently on my thing down there. So to seeing them in the jar like that, it's really just like kind of weird to me. It's just like crazy. But on top of that, being into some sort of satanic thing, doing satanic stuff while, as part of their, whatever this is, them, having all this, bondage stuff on the wall and stuff, and then being into literal satanic stuff while they're doing it is just really out there. You know what I mean? And on top of that, I really kind of wonder if there is like multiple different types of people, like some that literally think they're a female, and then there's some that just get off from thinking they're a female. And then on top of that, with the sports, it's completely unfair, especially in swimming, that, I could actually swim as fast as some of the top women that were when I was a swimmer. And I was not that fast, like do 25 in a 50 a meter. It's like not that big of a deal for a guy. I mean, like a 21, 22 is really awesome. 25, okay, whatever. But for the girls, that's like the top, top speed, Olympic level, you know what I mean? So for a guy to say they're a girl and go into swimming, it's like easy wins. It's like easy wins, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you can be an average dude and win. Of course, he's actually built right for a guy. Even he's 6'4". He's actually the right build for a good swimmer, because usually the best swimmers are really tall and thin like that. But apparently, he wasn't as fast as some of the other tall guys. But you know what I mean. So,
yeah, it's too bad. Back to this point, I just want to make this last point about this idea, and someone is making some comments. Orange Swell is making some points. I don't disagree necessarily that we should be careful as to the kind of stuff that we're feeding on, the kind of stuff that we're listening to, all of that kind of stuff. That isn't my point. My point is there is a patent hypocrisy in being so assertive and aggressive about condemning certain behavior and then claiming to be hearing from the Spirit of God that, that you're, if you're engaging in what she's calling mixture, which is basically, so because of this sacred secular dichotomy that the Protestants tend to deal with, the sacred secular dichotomy, mixture is anything that combines the sacred and the secular. But as I'm saying before, there is no such thing as sacred and secular. It's totally an artifact, a byproduct, an invented construct by the Protestant Reformation. It's not an early Christian idea. Now,
but I think there is a thing to be said about like someone like Lil Nas X or Billie Eilish. They're like very blatantly.
Yeah. But that's a different topic.
I'm not sure about Beyonce because I don't ever follow her. I don't know what she sings about.
And actually, you know what? I'm not saying that some of Beyonce's music isn't questionable.
Well, it probably is.
Yes,
I'm sure
it's very much so questionable. Just like I would say, like we were talking last week about the stuff that Madonna's doing. There's stuff that she's doing that clearly is questionable. Clearly is like, why is there like a church girl from Texas doing this? Like, you know what I'm saying? So there is stuff that's clear to question. I think we run into problems when certain people claim to have some sort of moral authority, and they're trying to manipulate folks into believing that you're going to be more safe and more well off if you just basically cut off, almost like in an Amish sense, cut off all of that stuff over there, and then you'll be okay. I think that is the danger. No, you may not be okay. You're still just in as much danger.
It's kind of like the monk. It's like a monk mentality, like, cut off all the world and just be out in the middle of nowhere in a desert and you'll be safe. But actually, I remember there's one monk who was out in the desert and God told him to go to Rome and he didn't want to go. And a lot of it was fear. He didn't want to go over there and confront the evil. He didn't want to confront it. We live in a world where you have to confront evil. You can't just hide from it, ignore it, cut it off, and just, go out in the desert. And he went to the Colosseum, and I think he was the last person to be killed in the Colosseum. So this monk went to the Colosseum and was just absolutely horrified by what he saw, and ran out in the center of it and told him to stop this madness. And then he ended up being the last person that got killed in the Colosseum. But he was a monk, and God told him to go there. So that was his mission, And so he was able to confront his own fear of dealing with evil in the world. And then he was also surprised at how evil it had gotten with the Colosseum, so.
Yeah. And the monastic tradition is, I'm not using the Amish reference as a criticism against people that,
they're probably pretty smart right now, actually, because they're actually self-sufficient, unlike most people, considering what's going on. It's probably a good idea to be Amish right now, or have some Amish friends.
But the point is, it's not. I'm not saying that it's not wise. I'm also not saying that it's necessarily the choice that will protect you from something. It may or may not do that, and this belief that as long as I don't listen to Beyonce's music, I'll be okay. As long as I don't listen to,
It's a
Lil
false,
Nas X, I'll be okay.
it's a false security. A false security is what you're saying. I know what you mean.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So
I know what you're saying.
that's kind of that's sort of the issue. Okay. Let's give a teaser at least on this on our main event here.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that stuff. All right. Yeah. So you're talking about this Ohio, and you live in Ohio, right?
I do.
Yeah. How close are you to this place? You read about it, right?
Let's see here. Where is it at?
What the hell was it? I'm trying to remember right off the top of my head. Oh, somebody's calling me right now. Goodness gracious. Seriously? I'm trying to remember the name. It is in Ohio. I looked it up yesterday. What was it? Just a second here. I'm trying to remember the name. I just can't remember for some reason. Train derailment. What was the word? I'm trying to remember where it was at. What in the world? Just a sec. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, East Palestine.
Palestine. That was the word I was trying to remember. I couldn't remember the word Palestine. Really terrible memory sometimes. Yeah, Palestine. And I looked it up for where I live, and it was like an hour and 45 minutes away when I looked it up. I don't know where you're at with reference to it. You're in Columbus, right?
Suburb of Columbus, yeah.
Yeah, so it's Palestine. All right. Goodness. I knew it was like some weird name from like Middle East. I just couldn't remember which word it was. I was like, Palestine. Can't remember anything. All right, so Google Maps. Did you already look it up?
Yeah, it's kind of south of Youngstown, Ohio. It's actually not that far from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it said something about Pennsylvania there too. So, I mean, how close are you?
Oh, I'm like more than 3 hours away.
Oh, wow, I'm closer than you are. Yeah. I'm only an hour and 45 minutes away. Yeah, it was kind of weird because like the other day I went outside and I smelled something kind of weird. And I was like, I really hope that's not related. I don't think it was probably, but there's people that are an hour and a half away saying that they're noticing things when they go outside. But I'm not downstream. I'm sort of upstream-ish from it, so that's probably why it won't affect me. At least if I understand the wind streams correctly, I know they can change, but generally speaking, I would be upstream, not downstream from it. So I don't think it would really affect where I'm at. But there's people talking about being dizzy. There's people saying that their animals are getting sick. There's again, with the whole chicken and egg thing, chicken's not laying eggs. Apparently, it was affecting a lot of livestock, cows dying and chickens not laying eggs. Once again, the same exact thing and we talked about before, except for in this case, it has to do with these toxins, which actually, from what I understand, when the stuff that was on board, when it mixes with water in the atmosphere, it becomes very similar to something that was used in World War I, mustard gas, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
So it's some vinyl chloride or something is what's on board, or what was on board. And from what I understand, a lot of the major outlets are just completely ignoring the story. And they're starting to cover it a little bit now, but it's just kind of amazing how they do that. It's almost like they're purposely dragging their feet. It's just like with the whole thing, they literally wait a year before they talk about something we knew a year ago. Like stuff I was talking about right away, like way back in 2020, early 2020, they talk about in 2021, 2022. And it's just like that laptop, our wonderful Prez, his son has a laptop, right? That story, they drag their feet on that. It's like they purposely drag their feet. So by the time they actually get to it, it's a completely irrelevant topic. It's not even worth talking about anymore. Everybody's been affected at that point. And, a lot of people could be avoid getting hurt from it by knowing about it, and they won't even. And of course, there's also people that just refuse to leave as well. So there's that, and there's also videos of people showing, and there's people showing fish that are dead and other things. We had somebody call in that actually lives here talking here. how they're saying that they're going into people's houses and looking in their basements to make sure it's not a death trap, because apparently it's a heavy gas and it can get stuck in your basement. And I actually work in my basement all the time. So if I lived there, I'd be like one of those people that would really be concerned about it for sure.
Right. I'm in my basement all the time too. I'm in my basement right now.
It's our man caves, right? Man cave. Sort of. Our wives just stick us in the basement, man.
Yeah.
Although
right.
I chose to be here. I don't actually. I'd rather be here than up there. You know. I don't know why. I just.
Well, I'm pretty warm blooded, so I always prefer being in the basement, especially
it's
during
cool.
summer months. Yeah.
It's not so hot. It's just a lot cooler. And my wife, she gets cold when I'm like hot and stuff. So.
And there's a difference between being banished and choosing.
I'm not banished. I'm not banished. This is my entire area. The whole basement's mine. So, and my wife, she just works up. She works upstairs. So, and nobody owns apparently the middle except for the kids. I guess I don't know, something like that. So,
here we go. Here's somebody in the chat. Zelda Jakubowski says, "Me and a lot of people are experiencing sinus sore throats. So praying, yeah, we're praying for you too."
Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about being dizzy
and the reason for this is because Zelda is 20 minutes away. Zelda is 20 minutes away from what happened. So yeah, definitely prayers for you and everybody in the vicinity.
It covers the size of a state. This isn't a small area. This is like the size of a state in coverage. It's 200 square miles. I mean, it's really a large area. And I'm just outside of it, you know. I'm just barely outside of it. So,
yeah. All right. So that's a nice teaser. Let's get back.
We'll get into more later. Yeah.
Video breakdown. So, once again, just to clear this up, I don't necessarily have anything against this lady. I think she's earnest in what she's doing. I think she's wrong.
I like her tenacity. I mean, you know, honestly, these days you can be halfway wrong and you're still doing good. I mean, look at Bill Maher. I mean, the guy's like wrong on tons of stuff, but all he has to do is like, hey, look, it's not normal, and then like everyone's like, yeah, you know.
Well, it's funny because last night. What's funny is last night on my show with Ike Ogiamian, it's called Getting Ish Done with Ike and Dr. Thunder, and it alternates between my channel and his channel. It was on my channel last night. Folks can go and check that out. I was at a point towards the end of the thing. I just made this thing like, I never thought that I would be like, I never thought it would happen that Bill Maher is actually kind of my guy on a bunch of stuff right now, because so here's what's happening. Here's what's happening. We are in a battle between people that are objectivists, that believe that there is something called science, there is biology, there is corresponding with reality, there is truth, there is verifiable, empirical, data, information, stuff that is true, and then there is other stuff. Okay, and so all of the objective reality folks, even though they're all over the place on the political spectrum, and some of them are atheists and some of them are, theists, some of them are lefties, some of them are on the right, some of them are religious, some of them are agnostic. But we're seeing a lot of folks say a lot of the same things, have the same criticisms about cancel culture, about, stuff like the transgender stuff, about, you have a lot of folks saying a lot of the same things. And it's remarkable. And you hear like left-leaning folks that, they would consider themselves pretty far left, but the stuff has moved so far that they almost are like centrists now.
No, they're not far left anymore because it's like I saw this interesting graph showing how it used to be. Like you had, the left and right maybe 30 years ago. They both kind of went to church. Republicans more than the Democrats, and now it's pretty much like very few Democrats go to church, and still Republicans still go to church. And it's actually kind of even shifted. The Republicans are about the same as they've always been. The line is completely shifted. The left is like went way over here. So those that were actually liberal before are now in the center because the Republicans haven't even changed, or the conservatives haven't even really changed at all, hardly. Some of them even went more liberal. But the left has just went crazy. It's went way over here. So those that used to be considered far left before, like 20 years ago, are now centrist. It's just kind of funny like that. But I'm wondering what my grandma would think. My grandma's gone now. She's like, I'm a Democrat. I'm going to always go vote Democrat. It doesn't matter what you say to me. I don't care. That's how she was. And, there are people like that. And I just wonder what you would think about things today. I was like, what would you think of this? Grandma, she was against burning the flag. She was like pro, military, all that kind of stuff. She worked for the VFW. But she was always voting for Democrats. It's like, oh, she voted for Bill Clinton because she thought he looked nice. I'm like, seriously, that's the reason you vote for him?
Well,
that's just the worst reason to vote for somebody.
But I'll tell you, there used to be such a thing as a blue dog Democrat. So the blue dogs were the pro-life Democrats. That's what she was, I think. That's what she was. But that's not a thing anymore. There's no such thing as a blue dog Democrat. There's no such thing.
I wonder if she would be as stubborn as she used to be now and be like, so what do you think about Leah Thomas with her satanic stuff? What do you think about that, Grandma?
All right. So we played a video, and might have been in our first episode or our first or second episode of Two Dads React, when I played a video of this kid. We just saw the damage, but we didn't actually see the kid do it. But this woman went through and she showed out this devastation that this kid had done. And we thought the kid was like 12, but it turns out he was like 15 or 16 or something.
So this is a kid that he's like 15, you said?
Well, I don't know about this kid, but I'm seeing the video that we played before from episodes ago. And then you actually clipped it and put it on your channel, and got some good views out of it, at least momentarily.
Oh, yeah. That guy destroyed the house.
Yeah. So here's another example of a kid just whatever, raging havoc. Here we go.
It's going to flip out. Okay. You want me a new one? No. No. I can't. The TV won't work. I cannot wait till next week. I have to play Fortnite. First of all, stop being so hostile. Second of all, go downstairs. Hook up your, is it PS? Whatever.
So just so people understand what happened.
Oh my goodness, dude.
So just so people understand what happened, what they did is they played what happened at the end, and then now they're rewound to what led up to those events. Okay.
Oh, I thought that was after. I thought that was after the fact. Like he couldn't wait anymore because he just broke it. Okay, never mind.
No. So this is what's happening. They showed that because that's the clickbait, right? That's the you see the action, and then they rewound it and said, okay, now we're going to play it from the beginning. Now notice that he's talking about he has to play Fortnite. He has to play Fortnite. Okay, so this is the rationale. This is part of what gets him going, because he's being stifled. He's being prevented from playing Fortnite because another television that they had, which was the TV that he used, apparently broke. It doesn't work anymore. Not because he broke it, but just because it stopped working. Okay. So then she tells him right now, just hook it up to that old TV that's down there, and we'll see what happens. Let's see what happens.
No, you know what? Remember the TV from the old house? Yeah. Why don't you just use that for now? What do you mean, what if it's not good? All right, whatever. Well, is it better than nothing? Yeah, whatever, Mom. Look at these people. I can't even see them. Oh my God. Like, this is horrible. I'm lagging probably because of the TV. I can't see anything. This TV's 20 years old. I can't play on it. Oh my God. Whatever. I'm just going to have to finish this game out like this. Oh my God. I can't even see them. Dude. Oh my God! Dude, look at... I literally had a freaking llama! Mom! Mom! I need a new TV! This TV's horrible! Okay, do you have money to buy a new TV, then? No, but I need money! Get me a TV! You're screaming? I need to play Fortnite! Okay, you don't have to scream. Yes, I do!
He needs to play Fortnite. I need to play Fortnite.
Is this a fake video or is this real? Like, I mean, who's
No,
following
I
around
think
with
this
the
is
camera?
real. I think this is actually part of a documentary.
Probably
It's
his
like one of
brother or
these-
something. following around?
like a reality TV thing.
Oh, like Dr. Phil or something. All right.
Yeah.
In 2 seconds, I'm taking... What are you gonna do? Nothing!
Okay.
Oh God, this kid's annoying. He's really
Oh.
bad, dude.
It's a super bad. But check it out. This thing though. What is facilitating this terrible behavior? What is facilitating this? He knows that she won't do anything. She just threatened. She said, "Look, if you keep this up, then then you're not playing any video games. I'm taking this away or whatever." And he says, "You're not gonna do anything." Now let's see what she says in response to that.
Okay, I need to play! You're not playing. No, I need to...
She just backed off of it. She didn't say, "Oh, I'm not going to do anything." We'll see if I'm not going to do anything. She didn't go and get,
I'm gonna break it. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm going to break it. You better not break it. Come on, watch me. Vincent? Vincent! What? Don't you dare! What? Where's the bat? Where? Vincent? Where's the bat? Vincent, listen to me. Don't break the TV. No. Are you gonna buy me a new one? No. Are you gonna buy me a new one? No. You're not gonna buy me a new one?
That kid's the worst, man.
See what happens? Oh dear. Oh dear. No. Buy me a new one? No, you can't. Oh. Vincent. I can't believe you did that. You gonna buy me a new one? No! Stop! Oh my gosh, your father is gonna flip out. Okay. You buy me a new one? No. No. Okay, no. Stop! Stop! You gonna buy me a new one? No, okay, no, it's done. It's done. Just stop. You gonna buy me a new one? Stop! Try to break it even more. No! Is that smoke? No! Is that smoke? No, it's not smoke. What is it? Particles and dust. Go get a broom and clean up and you're punished. Nope. Yeah? I'll hit you in the head with this thing. How's that? Broke my bed. What do you do? Look at your back from trying to break the TV. I'm going to get your father right now. You're done. Look at your dad's back that he had since he was a kid. Seriously? Well, you should have bought me a new TV. Yeah, sure. I'll fix it. No, you're gonna use it to break it some more. No, go get a broom. You're gonna buy me a new TV? No. Yeah, you will. No, you can't play Fortnite. Yeah, you will. Move. Look at all the glass. Oh God. Vincent! You're gonna buy me a new TV now? No! Why? Do you think by you keep breaking that I'm gonna go buy you a TV? You're a lunatic. How come? You're done. My heart's beating out of my chest. I guess I need a TV. If you don't buy me a new TV, you're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, you already did it, dumbass. Oh, that kid's super smart there.
Yeah, but this is
this
is terrible, man. I the Bible says that he that does not chastise his son hates his son.
Yeah.
The adage, spare the rod, spoil the child. And I was watching CGA, Coach Greg Adams. I watch him frequently. I think it was on his show yesterday, one of his shows yesterday. And he played this clip of a woman that was she was claiming, she's an educator, and she was saying that supposed parents' rights is a way to basically justify. How did she say? It was a way to justify. What did she say?
Abuse, something.
No, not.
I think I saw. I know what you're talking about. It's like they're trying to say parents don't have rights or something, right?
Well, they were saying that parents saying that they have rights to do with their children, to punish their children, to discipline their children the way that they want to, is, what was that? Fascism.
Oh, everything's fascism, bro. Don't you know that?
Yeah.
Everything's racism too.
Yeah,
you're racist.
Fascism. That's right.
Yeah.
Fascism. She said it's fascism.
These words have no meaning anymore. They have no meaning, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Fascism.
So,
and this is an educator. This is a teacher that was saying this.
Wasn't it somebody who was trans too, right? Wasn't it? The one I saw,
I don't know if they were trans. I don't know. I don't know. You know, and I don't even try to pretend that I understand, and I just try to, what I try to do is I just try to ignore all of that and just try to hear what people are saying. And that's, it's really devolved so much.
That's the one I saw was a guy that it was like I said, but maybe you watched a different video than me. I watched it on some other channel. At any rate, you know what I mean? So maybe we should get back to the topic a little bit more.
Yeah, sure. Let's jump back over to you.
Yeah, so I mean, we've had a lot of weird stuff happen of recent. Actually, I thought I was sharing screen. I guess I'm not. We've had a lot of weird stuff happen of recent. Apparently, there was a number of trains that derailed in America of recent. Did you know about that? There's actually a number of them.
I guess another one was derailed earlier today.
Oh, really? I didn't even know about that one.
I think it was in Michigan. Go look that up.
I'm sorry, folks. I've been busy. Usually, I'm always looking at what's the latest news. It was in Michigan?
I think it was in Michigan.
Wow. Something else that just happened in Michigan State.
Michigan train derailment today. There it is.
Yeah, there was a shooting in Michigan too, wasn't there? Like
Michigan State University, and there were fatalities actually associated with that.
You and I used to go over there and talk to people that went to Michigan State.
Yeah, and I've been on that campus for a number of reasons, and I have former colleagues at the institution I work at now that now work there, and I reached out to them as soon as I found out that there was an active shooter situation.
This is just like I talk about all the time on my Sail Daddy channel. I talked about, okay, so we have the World Economic, of course, Forum, and they tell us that what's worse than the whole thing? What's worse than the flu thing? Oh, what if we have no power? What if something derails? What if this happens? We have infrastructure problems. And he starts talking about this like, what was that, like 3 weeks ago? And next thing you know, we have those power outages in various countries. Then we had issues with chickens laying eggs. Now we got train derailments left and right. Apparently today, there's another one. We had a ton of processing facilities going up in flames. We talked about those, what was it? The number one in chicken farm in New Zealand, number 3 in America. It was like 100,000 hens or something like that. Now we have another train derailed today. And I would have been all over this story if I wasn't busy trying to fix my other website. I had a website that I've made 20 years ago that I finally got fixed up a little bit today, but at any rate. So it's like the first day I wasn't actually into the news stories, but so yeah, apparently it happened in Michigan. Was this in Detroit? Where is this at?
What is it? Berean? Does it says
Burin Township.
Burin Township.
You and I grew up.
Township, yeah.
Yeah, you and I grew up in Michigan. Where is this? I don't even know this Burin Township. What is this? Burin Township.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Where's this at? Show me. Romulus.
Oh, it looks like it's somewhat close to Detroit.
Ann Arbor. Yeah, it's near Detroit, kind of.
Yeah.
My brother lived in Pontiac for a while. It's kind of like between Ann Arbor and Detroit.
Yeah, there's a lot of strange stuff happening, and it's like clusters of stuff. Yeah.
I kind of feel like these are purposeful too, you know. Honestly, I guess you could say it's all a coincidence, but there's too much of it. You had all the we had all these weird UFO things, and then we had what is all this stuff? This balloon that flew over America, and then they had all these UFOs, and then now we have train direct. What is going on here? Okay, what is this?
Hey,
this is like
makes
cuckoo
this.
sound, man.
Miguel is making this point. More trains have derailed in the past week than the past 10 years. It seems like.
Yeah, and it's the same with the processing facilities. I feel like it maybe it's to increase prices to kind of ruin the supply chain, and also of course I feel like they're trying to take down the economy overall because they know it's going to go down. They're trying to control it and make it happen sooner or something. I don't really understand much more than that. It just seems really weird why they it's like they know it's going to fail, so they're trying to force it to fail quicker or something. I don't know. It seems weird to me.
Hey, somebody just is pointing out that there's 1,000 derailments a year on average, where there's a lot of chemical spills recently. So it's not just the derailments that are the issue, right? It's not just a derailment. It's derailment with, like the hazmat,
A 1,000 derailments. That sounds like a lot of derailments, dude. I think maybe he's saying there's a lot of them a year. I don't think there's no 1,000, but of course I don't work on a track. My brother's friend does. I've never talked to him about it though, but
but to take the point, even if that number is a skewed number, is a little higher or whatever, the point is that derailment wouldn't. I mean, that's bad. We don't want a bunch of derailments, but
right, yeah.
But derailment plus hazmat, that's where it's bad. The hazmat is the bad part. That's the part that destroys the environment and screws up people's drinking water and potentially, mustard gas like substances.
Yeah.
So, all right. I've got something else if you want me to jump over.
All right. Yeah, sure.
Video breakdown. And somebody is saying unreported earthquakes could derail trains. That's interesting. Okay, here we go. Now, okay, here we go. So, one thing that we have watched frequently, we've watched a lot of these sort of custody things where the guy is losing his shirt. He can't have access to his kids. They're child supporting him out the wazoo and all of this kind of stuff. We've shown a number of things on this show. This one, I like this particular judge, and she's all over TikTok, and there's a bunch of them where she is ruling in the favor of the guy. And it's just a different angle on stuff, right? So let's take a look at this.
Or you don't want kids at all? You don't want the responsibility, anything?
No, I just don't want to have kids anymore.
Okay, interesting. Now, what about the financial part of it? What about paying your sister child support to take care of your children? I mean, you don't want them. You're not raising them. They've been with her for the past 9 months. So wouldn't you say it's fair to give her some money for them?
I don't really have it. I only make like $40,000 a year.
But you're making money, okay? Do you live alone?
Yes.
You live alone, you make $40,000 a year. She said you pay health insurance.
And I go to school at night.
Okay. Well, that's good. You don't want to, what are you going to school for? Let me ask you this first.
For fashion.
Fashion, okay. You plan to make a lot of money with that?
hopefully one day.
Do you intend on getting your kids back at some point?
I mean, I don't know. I just know how I feel right now, and I just don't want to have my kids. I just want to focus on my career.
So let's talk about that. Did you just wake up one day and say, I don't want to have kids anymore, and I'm going to send them, make it seem as though I want my sister to keep them for the summer, when really I'm just going to drop them off and never pick them back up? Like, how did you get to that point?
It just kind of happened, and it
kind of just happened? Are you dating someone?
No.
Were you dating someone?
Yes.
Did they have kids?
No.
They didn't want your kids around?
I mean, not necessarily.
So was that what started this? You not wanting your kids because the person you were in a relationship with really didn't want your kids around?
Yeah.
So a couple things. One thing about this that is so there's not really scenarios where a guy that has custody of his kids could just leave his kids somewhere without probably getting prosecuted. Okay? That's not a real thing. So, like, for instance, abandoning your kids, women get a pass on that. Women can take their kids and drop them off at a fire station. They can drop their kids off at a hospital. Hey, I just don't want the kids anymore. Pawn their kids off on relatives. That's a pretty common. It's actually a very common thing. They get a lot of grace with respect to that. Men don't get that same kind of grace. If you try to do the same sorts of things as a man, it's likely that you'll get prosecuted. Now, that being said, like I said before, this particular judge seems to see through a lot of this stuff. She also, I was debating between this particular clip and another one where the parents of the grandparents are taking care of a kid, and the daughter, the one that is actually the mother of the kid, is out there living it up and is actually making a lot of money, but she's not telling her parents that she's making this money, and she's not giving them any child support. Not doing anything. And so she, reads her the riot act and tells her, look, this is what you're going to be doing now. Oh, you making $80,000? Okay. So you can pay $1,500 a month. And wait a minute, health insurance? Are you guys paying for health insurance? Yeah, she can reimburse you for the health insurance. What is that, $250 a month? Okay, yeah. So it'll be $1,500 plus $250. So your new child support payment is $1,750. Do you understand that? And she's very much like this. And not that I want to see like anybody have to pay child support or anybody get railroaded, but it is nice to see that there does seem that there is maybe some more fairness that is starting to happen, because folks are actually aware of how a lot of these laws have been weaponized disproportionately against men.
I just heard recently a story very similar to this, and I can't really share details because it's somebody that I don't personally know him, but my wife knows about him. Okay, and they're not really friends or something, but we just know a story from someone we know, and essentially, the woman cheated on the husband, and then now she wants to just move out, and she doesn't even want. And what's interesting is the son wants to stay with the stepfather, even though like it's not even his child,
right?
And the judge ended up making her pay child support to him, and because of just how her attitude and stuff is just really kind of like that woman we saw there, just really messed up attitude. and she's like actually agreed to it and signed it, and like I'm like, what is wrong with this woman, man? So apparently she just wants to be with this other guy and is willing to just throw everything else away to do it. It's like one of those things, which is really kind of
it's amazing. We expect women to be nurturing and you like not to be able to imagine their life without their kids and this kind of thing. But when you see this kind of stuff, it's like, man, that is just not natural. That is just not normal, man.
It's kind of our this generation though. I feel like it's social media and just people get this weird mentality, like it's me, myself, and I, and like they become extremely self-centered. You know what I mean? And we've known about self-centeredness before, but now it's like you get excuses for it. It's okay to be self-centered, and then they even label it as, some sort of, you're like this minority self-care, or whatever. Yeah. Like where they get labeled as like they're a special group or something. And I kind of feel like it's one of those things, and everybody can feel sorry for them when they actually shouldn't be felt sorry for whatsoever, because it hides all their manipulation and evil things they're doing and stuff. Right. And it's just curious like that. I'm not speaking of a specific group, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think you know what I mean. Yeah.
All right, here I've got one last thing, and then I think maybe you can recap some of the train derailment stuff, and if you have a couple other things you want to show, and I think we can close out. But let's take a look at this. Now, I'm gonna tell you what this is. This is one of my shorts on my channel, and let's see, what did I name this? I think this short is something like, if she acts like this, she's guilty. Something like that. And so here let's check it out.
Next. Okay, that's okay. Apparently, I guess you already know why you here.
Yeah, you got
okay.
Excuse them.
Usually, that's okay, because usually when people come in, they
How long is this
don't
gonna take?
know.
How long is this gonna take?
We can do
How long is this gonna take?
We can do it right now.
Yeah, how long is this gonna take?
Okay, well, I need.
No, how long is it gonna take for you to continue to talk to him so I can get up and go? I do have work to be at. So how long is this gonna take?
You gotta deal with her like this.
It don't even matter what he gotta deal with. How long is this gonna take? Because I don't have to be here for real.
No, you don't have to be here.
Exactly.
But obviously you
exactly.
do love him, right?
I don't have to be here.
Do you love him?
I don't have to be here. Loving got to do with it. Loving got to do with it.
Okay, so
can you not? What?
At least let
you the reason I'm here. Exactly.
Man.
And he ain't going nowhere.
Bruh, if she's acting like this, she's guilty.
Yeah, it's worse than that, dude.
Yeah. So, and just for some clarification, this particular thing, it's a something cheaters. I can't remember the whole name of the show,
okay.
But basically what it is they get people. So the way the process works is the guy or the girl, they contact this guy, say, hey, I think my spouse or my girlfriend or my boyfriend or whatever is cheating on me.
Is that the show Cheaters? I used to watch that all the time. I love that show.
It's not that show. It's not that show, but it's based on that kind of concept.
That was an old show too. That was like 10, 15, 20 years ago. That was a while ago.
The twist on the show is that they submit to a lie detector test that is submitted right in the office. So they bring them into the office, and
That's
then
like a
right as a way to clear this up, prove that they didn't do it. They submit to a lie detector test. Of course, when this woman took the lie detector test, this is just a short clip of this, she totally failed. She lied about everything. She was having so it was suggested that she was having not just protected sex with other people, unprotected sex, group sex with other people. She was doing all kinds of stuff, based on the questions. She failed every point. And she was trying to be deliberately misleading in the way that she was answering and being just totally defiant the whole time. It was super aggressive. Sometimes what people do, and this is actually pretty common, is when they've been caught and when they know now it is time, you're going to have to, face up to reality. They will go kicking and screaming into it. They don't like that you caught them. They don't like that, you're going to find out that they've been manipulating you. They don't like that. And so this is the response. It gets super aggressive and defiant. It's,
well, I mean, I can't imagine if she's like that even sometimes, but I obviously this is a specific situation where she's getting caught, but she's like very hard to be around. It's like scratching on the chalkboard,
Yeah. And that's in the comments of this short, that's what a lot of folks were saying, who would deal with somebody that acts like
that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Now I'm sure that this is probably I'm sure that this is probably her on 20, and maybe she's usually about a 10, but even a 10, if this is a 20, is totally ridiculous. Like nobody can handle. So
yeah, you guys got too much patience, man. That guy's got way too much patience.
Way too much patience. So you have something else you want to show?
Yeah, maybe. What was I going to show? I had some other stuff too. Okay. Oh yeah, this is interesting. I talked about this over on my channel of recent. You remember about that Euphrates River drying up? Apparently there was an earthquake over there, and there was some really strange video coming out around that time frame. You can see it here, just some weird pulsating light over the city. And they say that maybe this was some gas break or something. I don't know what this was, but it was like
really
pulsating
strange.
and everything. Yeah, it looks really weird. But we've seen so many weird things of recent, and now it's almost become normal. And maybe some of your audience is younger, but I remember when this stuff was not normal at all. It seems like we're kind of on a logarithmic scale of just things getting more crazy every day. At least that's what it feels like to me. And
now, do you think? Now, let me ask you. Yeah. Let me ask you about that. So, because I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I was saying, it just seems like there's a lot of weird stuff going on. And what they said to me was, they thought that a lot of the same stuff has been going on. It's just we just know about more of it now because of the proliferation of independent media. Do you do you think that perhaps a lot of this kind of stuff could have been happening prior, and the major media outlets have just basically just not covered it?
Well,
and we
I
just
think
know now because of folks like you.
I would say only partially the case, because I've been covering this stuff for like 10 years on YouTube, and the amount that happens in 1 week now, it was like maybe 2 months worth of news before, or 3 months. I remember, I mean, even back in 2020, I was like, every day is like basically a week's worth of stuff before. And now it's even worse in 2020. So I was covering all the stuff all the time before. I was like covering all the crazy stuff back in the old days. And we were free to do it back then too. But there was a rash of weird stuff at different times. Like back in the 2017 era, there was a number of people with, walking around, kind of like what we saw at Michigan State recently, a bunch of shooting type things. And there was a rash of them right in a row, and we were doing tons of videos about them. So it just seems weird how they're all in clusters too. So you'll have like a cluster of train derailments, a cluster of, all these things burning down, a cluster of this, a cluster of that, almost like someone's doing it. Why the hell is it always a cluster? Why is it then you'll get like 3 years without any of it, and then all of a sudden you get 5 in a row? It's like, what is this? So then it makes you wonder if there is someone potentially behind some of this. And then when you ask that, they're like, oh, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Of course not. They would never do that. Yeah, right. Give me a break, dude. I mean, they're literally telling us they're going to do it. at the World, Economic Forum, and then they do it. It's like there's like 3 times in a row in the last year or two where they said they're going to do something. Next thing you know, what happens? It's like, well, maybe because they're doing something, maybe it's not just a coincidence, right? So I don't know. I feel like some of it also could be just the time frame we're in. We're getting near the end. It talks about there'll be more earthquakes. There'll be more this, that, and the other in the end times. And I mean, obviously that's a factor too. But to say this is normal is not normal. You remember back in the 80s and 90s, none of this stuff really happened. I mean, maybe it did happen some, and we didn't know about it because the news didn't cover it. But I'm telling you, back in 2010, I was covering everything. And we wouldn't have these stories. We wouldn't have hardly any stories compared to this.
Mm-hmm.
We have at least 20 times more stories now than we used to of crazy stuff. I would say a bare minimum 20 times. I mean, what do you think? I mean, there is a factor to what you're saying, though. I think there is a little bit of a factor.
Yeah. So I'd say it's probably somewhere in the middle. It's probably where we're at. It probably is the case that we are seeing more things because there is independent media, but I also think that there's more stuff. So yeah. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a heyday for topics right now. I mean, I don't even have to. Before, I used to have to do a bunch of research. Now it's just like you open up your phone and you're like, damn, dude, what the hell? More crazy stuff. So.
Yeah, Floyd says these trains been flipping over, just not hazmat materials until now. Even trucks with dangerous chemicals are crashing. Oh yeah, like the truck in Arizona that poisoned the air in the state recently. Oh, that's a good point.
They can make an argument
just limited
too.
to trains.
They could make an argument saying, well, look, see, we've had train derailments. And I'm not saying the people watching are saying this, but maybe the outlets or people that want to sort of say there's nothing happening, they'll be like, yeah, we've had train derailments all the time in the past, but we haven't had these kind of train derailments all in a row.
Right. And that's a point that I didn't make it very well, but that I was making earlier. It's one thing to have like train derailments. It's another thing to hazmat. That's a different factor. That's a different magnitude of issue.
It's almost like they're trying to explain it away in the chaos. You know what I mean? Like, and they could say the same with food processing facilities. There are, 5 to 10 a year usually that go up, but now then you get like 100 in a year. They say, well, they usually have some, so they can make an argument like, yeah, it's always happened, but it hasn't happened to the degree that we've seen of recent, which makes you think there's something artificial going on. And, so I think it's like that with all this stuff. But and the UFOs are ridiculous too. What is up with this UFOs shooting all these UFOs down? We've had UFOs for 60 years. Why all of a sudden do they care? All of a sudden they admit that they exist and are trying to shoot them down. I'm like, what is this? They said before their whole thing was they don't exist. And then they say, oh, no, maybe they do exist. Oh, now we're going to go scramble after them with jets and shoot them down. I mean, it's just weird,
Yeah. So this we talked about this Shawno 313. We talked about the train derailment in Michigan and Burren Township there, which is pretty close to Detroit and is pretty close to Ann Arbor. It's kind of in the middle there. But yeah, and it was carrying hazardous chemicals too. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So it makes you really wonder because they could easily do this. They could hire a team to do things and they would be, outside of, you know what I'm saying? Like, why couldn't they do that? They could do that. You can't pretend like that can't happen. It can happen. Right. And maybe it's psychological too, because they can put all these weird stories in the media and maybe it's sort of a psychological trick because there are psychological games they can play as well to kind of get the state of humans into a sort of fear state or in a different state so they're easier to control or whatever, you know what I mean? So there could be even, I think they use some really high level studies to figure out how they want to manipulate. And then they want us to pretend like none of the stuff happens. And then if you figure it out, they're like, you're crazy, you know what I mean? And you're just a theorist and all that stuff.
Right. A theorist.
Theorist.
Yeah. In a week, a large amount of chemicals spilled in the USA. The Ohio spill poisoned the Ohio River, which feeds into multiple states, and drinking waters. No.
Yeah, right. And it's not just some small river; it's some massive river that goes into tons of places. Just happens to be that one, not some little creek, right?
Yeah, folks. Like, share, comment, subscribe, become a channel member where you'll get access to all archived videos. Support independent media. Cash super chats enabled. Super thanks for the replay gang. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Dr. Thunder Music, all one word. Spell out the word doctor. And I think we're coming to a close. Also, folks, remember that if you want my music content, I am migrating all my music content over to my new channel, Dr. Thunder Music. Just do a YouTube search, you'll find it. Spell out the word doctor. And please subscribe over there. That's also a way you can support. Liking the video is the best way to push the video up in the algorithm. So please do so. And I think that's going to be our time today. And with that, we are out. See you later.